Ceramicist. Today we're gonna quickly go over how to make a pinch pot. This is our first project, and we're gonna think of this as practice, not a final piece. We're gonna learn the basic skills of how to shape clay, how to manage our clay. What can we do when it's wet? How do we keep it wet? What can we do when the clay is leather hard? And what can we do with the clay when it's dry? So, since this is practice, since this is our first project, you will get a grade on this, but we're not going to put it in the grade book. And hopefully that will help you relax and come up with a really nice first pot. Now in this demo, it'll take me about 15 minutes to make the pot. We're going to spend quite a bit more time than that. So keep in mind that I have made an awful lot of pinch pots in my day. So I'll be moving a little faster than you will and probably have a little more success. Now, when you're getting your clay, as you saw, you can take the wire cutter. Let me go back here. So we open the bag, we peel it down. Now, if there's some clay chunks on top, feel free to grab those. We're looking for about a pound of clay. Now, I cut those earlier, so I'll just get them out of the way and show you how we cut our clay. So take the wire about what is that? Maybe an inch and a half down. Just cut a nice thick slab. Put it up, and then you're going to cut that into 4 sections. Pull the wire across about halfway. It's certainly not going to be perfect. And then cut that in half. Okay, so we're looking for about a pound of clay. It's not going to be a big deal if it's a little high, a little light, or a little heavy. Use the black numbers. Those are pounds. The red ones are kilograms. So if you want to get it to exactly a pound, just tear off a chunk of clay, add it, and then we will work it into your pot. Right, so here's what we're going for in the end. A pound will get you a pot about that size. Keep in mind, if you're the last one to use the clay, we need to get it sealed. We need to keep the moisture in there. We don't want it to dry out. Alright, so here's our pot. What we're looking for is even thickness all the way around. We want it to be symmetrical on the sides, so it has the same curve, the same form all the way around. So get your mat a little bit wet so it doesn't dry out the clay. We're going to wedge it just to get those separate chunks all together. So we just knead it, push it down, pull it up, push it down, pull it up. You'll get very good at this throughout the year. And then I'm going to ball up that clay, and I'm going to toss it back and forth. And I'm using a little bit of force. I want a ball. It should be about round. We want to get rid of all these, the cracks that you see in the clay, right? All those little, oops. Right, so we need to pat it, kind of cup your hand, so your hand is round, then your clay will be round. It'll form a ball. So just take your time and give it some little smacks, firm but loving. And get it to about the shape of a ball. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you can see it's a lot smoother. Now what we're going to do to open the pot is we're going to put our thumb in there. We want to leave about a ½ inch of clay for the base. And this takes a little bit of guesswork. You just have to feel it. So there's our opening. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to pinch our pot. So I have 3 fingers on the outside and my thumb on the inside. And then I start pinching between my fingers and my thumb. So the clay is going between. I start at the bottom, work my way around, and then I start going up the pot, up the walls of the pot. It might take you a while to get a rhythm, but that's okay, right? This is practice. Don't get frustrated. Now the key here is to work your way all the way to the top of the pot, otherwise your lip is going to curve in. Right, so I'm going all the way, slowing down a little bit when I get to the top. One thing I want you to notice is you can see my fingerprints a little bit on the inside and outside, just a little bit. So I'm not putting so much pressure when I'm pitching that I'm denting the clay. Right? There's not huge finger marks in there. So if you see that happening on your pot, relax your hands a little bit. You're trying to do this in a few hundred pinches, not in 20 pinches. So this is a lot of little pinches, and slowly shape it. As you're going around, you want to feel the thickness of the clay. So where it's thicker, you're going to spend more time pinching. Where it's thinner, you might leave that alone. So we want this to be about a ¼ inch thick. You know, maybe a touch more if you want to carve it. And you'll notice on the top, we have these cracks in there. And what does that mean? That means our clay is drying. But at this point, this is fresh clay. We don't have to panic about that. Don't start putting water on there. Don't start freaking out. Unless there's a large crack, it's not a big problem. If the clay is actually separating, if there's a real crack in there, that means you're pinching too fast again. You can't move if you move the clay quickly, it'll crack and break. Those little cracks on top are not a problem, and I'll be smoothing those out in a moment. So as you can see, I have to go through this process many, many times. Occasionally, I'm going to stop, I'm going to look to see how symmetrical my pot is, to see if it's the shape I want. So now I'm healing those cracks on top, and I'm just doing that by smoothing it out, by dragging the wet clay into the cracks. Now what I did there, let's go back if we can. That's how you get the base of your pot flat. Just give it a gentle tap on a flat surface on your mat, and that'll flatten the bottom for you. You might have to tap more once. Now I hold it up. I'm looking, are the sides symmetrical? Is this the shape I want? If you want it wider, you're going to push a little more with your thumb. You're going to kind of pull it out. If you want it taller, squeeze a little more on your finger side, bring that up. This just takes practice. So take your time. Now I'm really trying to be sensitive to where it's thick and where it's thin. And I'm trying to push the pot out into the shape I want, right? This should be symmetrical. So the left and right side, when I hold it up, should kind of curve the same way. And again, go all the way to the top of the lip so it doesn't curl in. So this really is about any clay project, every little thing. the base, the walls, the lips. So again, hold it up and check for symmetry, for the shape you want. That looks pretty good, right? Some little things, checking the thickness. I want that even all the way around if I can. And I'm going to heal that lip. And that is about as far as you are going to get today because the clay is wet. It's not really workable at this point. Right? When the clay is wet, we can make our big shapes. We don't want to start refining that or trimming it, adding texture, smoothing until the clay is leather hard. So once you have your basic shape, you're pretty happy with the thickness, just leave it. We want it to get leather hard. Now this clay has dried a while. It's probably not quite leather hard, but I think I can at least show you what to do next. More than likely your lip isn't going to be perfectly even, so we can trim some of the bumps down using our little loop tool. I have a flat one. I'm just going to even the top, trim that down, and now this clay is a little drier, so I'm putting getting my fingers damp, and I'm rounding that lip again after I've trimmed it. So really take your time with this. Remember, this is practice. No need to stress out. It's easy to start again. We're all learning here together, but in the end we should have a nice pot. There'll be another video. I'll show you how to make a foot. There's a couple different ways to do that, and how to smooth, how to add texture. But for now, just make your basic shape. Take your time, really get a feel for the clay, and enjoy the process. Ceramics is fun. The sooner you get a feel for how to shape things well, the sooner you'll be enjoying this. So if you have any questions, stop in to see me at any point. Remember, you're welcome in the studio whenever you like. If you're going into another class, just ask the teacher if there's room where you should sit. And practice, practice, practice.